22 players, 11 minutes of real action, and billions watching. This is American football. A sport born from rugby, engineered by strategy, and transformed into the most valuable sports league in the world, the National Football League. But here's the real question. Why does a game that stops every few seconds hold an entire nation captive? (1869), New Brunswick, New Jersey. Rutgers versus Princeton. Not the NFL. Not even football as we know it. A chaotic mix of soccer-style kicking and rugby-style scrums. 25 players per side. No forward pass, no downs, just territory and brute will. By the 1870s, colleges across the Northeast were playing variations of the game, but the rules were inconsistent, dangerous, disorganized. Then came a transformation. In 1880, at Yale University, Walter Camp proposed something radical. Reduce the teams to 11 players. Introduce the line of scrimmage. Replace chaotic scrums with structured plays. American football was no longer rugby. It was becoming chess with helmets. But there was a problem. By the early 1900s, the game had become violent. In 1905 alone, at least 18 players died from football-related injuries. Public outrage grew. Colleges considered banning the sport entirely. Even President Theodore Roosevelt intervened, urging reforms to make the game safer. In 1906, a legal forward pass was introduced. It opened the field, reduced mass collisions, and changed strategy forever. The sport survived, not because it was safe, but because it evolved. The game survived 1906, but survival wasn't dominance. In the 1920s, professional football was unstable. Small-town teams, low attendance, financial collapse after collapse. In 1920, the American Professional Football Association was formed. 2 years later, it renamed itself the National Football League. But college football was king. Pro football was seen as rough, commercial, inferior. The NFL needed legitimacy and stars. In 1925, the Chicago Bears signed Red Grange, one of the most famous college players in America. Attendance surged. Newspapers paid attention. The NFL finally had credibility. Then came another problem: competition. In 1960, a rival league was born, the American Football League. The AFL challenged the NFL with aggressive expansion, bold marketing, and a willingness to sign black athletes at higher rates in some positions than the NFL initially did. A bidding war exploded. Player salaries skyrocketed. Television contracts became battlegrounds. And then, in 1967, the first AFL-NFL World Championship game was played. It would later be known as the Super Bowl. By 1970, the leagues merged, not because they wanted peace, but because competition was unsustainable. Football didn't just win on the field, it won on television. In 1958, the NFL championship game between the Baltimore Colts and New York Giants went into sudden death overtime. It was broadcast nationally. Millions watched. It became known as the greatest game ever played. And television turned football into a national ritual. Here's the secret. American football looks chaotic, but it is engineered control. 11 players per side, 60 minutes of game time, 4 quarters, 15 minutes each. The field, 100 yards long, 10-yard end zones on each side. Every play begins at the line of scrimmage. The ball is snapped backward, and time becomes pressure. The offense has 4 downs, 4 attempts to gain at least 10 yards. Succeed and the count resets. Fail and possession changes. This is why the game stops. Every snap is a calculated decision. Pass, run, punt. Territory is currency. Points are precise. 6 for a touchdown, 1 extra point kick, 2 for a 2-point conversion, 3 for a field goal, 2 for a safety. The clock doesn't always run. It stops for incomplete passes, out-of-bounds plays, penalties. That pause is strategy breathing. And when the final whistle blows, the team with more points wins. Simple in structure, complex in execution. Football never stays still. It adapts. After the 1970 AFL-NFL merger, the league reorganized into 2 conferences: the American Football Conference, the National Football Conference. One championship game unified them: the Super Bowl. But evolution didn't stop at structure. It changed on the field. In the 1970s, the NFL made a rule change that reshaped offense forever. Defensive players were restricted from making significant contact with receivers more than 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Passing exploded. Quarterbacks became central figures. The game opened up. In the 1990s and 2000s, training science advanced. Strength conditioning, film study, data analysis. Players became faster, stronger, more specialized. Stadiums evolved too, from concrete bowls to billion-dollar architectural arenas with retractable roofs and massive HD screens. Then came another transformation: safety. Concussion awareness grew in the 2000s. The league introduced stricter penalties for helmet-to-helmet contact. Kickoff rules were modified to reduce high-speed collisions. Technology followed. Instant replay expanded. Coaches' challenges formalized. The game remained physical, but it adjusted. Football survives because it evolves. American football was born in the United States, but it did not stay there. The NFL first tested international waters in 1986, a preseason game in London. The American Bowl Series followed, bringing NFL games to Europe, Canada, Mexico, and Japan between 1986 and 2005. It was an experiment, not yet a movement. Then came a breakthrough. In 2007, the New York Giants and Miami Dolphins played a regular season game at Wembley Stadium in London. Not preseason, not exhibition, a real game that counted. It sold out. London became a recurring host, multiple games per season. Mexico City followed. In 2005, over 103,000 fans attended a regular season game between the Arizona Cardinals and San Francisco 49ers, the highest attendance in NFL regular season history. The NFL expanded its international series. Germany hosted its first regular season NFL game in 2022 in Munich. It sold out within minutes. The crowd sang along during timeouts. A cultural translation was happening.
The NFL also built global pipelines. The International Player Pathway Program began in 2017, giving athletes from outside the U.S. opportunities to compete at the professional level. And television? The Super Bowl is broadcast in more than 180 countries. It consistently ranks among the most watched annual sporting events in the United States. The game is still American at its core, but its audience is global.
Rules shape the game. Rivalries grow it, but legends define it. In the 1960s, one name became synonymous with victory: Vince Lombardi. As head coach of the Green Bay Packers, he led the team to 5 NFL championships in 7 seasons, including victories in the first 2 Super Bowls. Today, the Super Bowl trophy bears his name. Then came a quarterback who redefined the position: Joe Montana. 4 Super Bowl victories with the San Francisco 49ers, known for precision, calm under pressure, efficiency in big moments. The passing era had its architect. In the 1980s and 1990s, Jerry Rice emerged as the most statistically productive wide receiver in league history, career leader in receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns. Longevity, discipline, preparation. Defense had its giants too. Lawrence Taylor changed how offenses protected quarterbacks. His pass-rushing dominance forced strategic adjustments across the league. And then, the modern dynasty. Tom Brady. 7 Super Bowl victories, more than any player in NFL history. 2 decades of sustained excellence across 2 franchises. The game evolved around him, and he evolved with it. These names are not myths. They are milestones. Each era leaves a signature, and the NFL remembers. American football is violent. It is strategic. It is commercial. But it is also developmental. Physically, the sport demands strength, speed, coordination, and endurance. Linemen train for explosive power. Receivers train for acceleration and route precision. Quarterbacks train for timing, vision, and decision-making under pressure. Conditioning programs at collegiate and professional levels are built on measurable performance science. Football is specialization and teamwork. Strategically, it resembles controlled problem-solving. Coaches script opening plays. Defensive coordinators adjust in real time. Film study breaks down tendencies. Every down is information. Every formation sends a signal. The pause between plays, it is calculation. Economically, the NFL is one of the highest revenue sports leagues in the world. It generates billions annually through media rights, sponsorships, merchandising, and ticket sales. Super Bowl broadcasts command some of the most expensive advertising slots in global television. But beyond revenue, football drives employment, stadium construction, broadcast production, sports medicine, analytics, youth coaching. Culturally, Sundays became ritual. Tailgates became tradition. Thanksgiving football games became part of national routine. The Super Bowl became more than a championship. It became a shared event. The sport builds community, it builds careers, and for many, it builds identity. Every dominant sport carries myths. American football is no exception. Myth 1. Football is just controlled chaos. Fact.
NFL teams use complex playbooks, structured formations, and coordinated assignments. Every player has a defined responsibility on every snap. The appearance of chaos is often layered structure. Myth 2. The game is non-stop violence. Fact. The ball is in play for a small fraction of the total broadcast time. Each play typically lasts only a few seconds before stopping. The physical collisions are intense, but brief. Myth 3. Modern football is the same as it was decades ago. Fact. Rules have continuously evolved, especially regarding player safety. Helmet-to-helmet hits draw penalties. Defenseless player protections exist. Concussion protocols require medical evaluation before return to play. The sport has changed, though debate about long-term health risks continues. Myth 4. It's only popular in America. Fact. Regular season games are played internationally. The Super Bowl is broadcast in 180 countries. The audience extends beyond national borders. Myth 5. It's only about size and strength. Fact. Football requires timing, spatial awareness, decision-making speed, and tactical discipline. Strength matters, but cognition matters too. The truth is rarely simple. Football is physical, strategic, commercial, cultural, and constantly examined. It began in 1869 on a college field in New Jersey. No helmets, no Super Bowl, no billion-dollar stadiums. Just a ball and territory. Over more than a century, the game changed. Rules adjusted. Leagues merged. Television amplified it. The NFL became a Sunday constant, a fall tradition, a winter climax. The Super Bowl evolved into one of the most watched annual sporting events in the United States. Generations remember where they were during defining plays, overtime drives, goal line stands, final minute field goals. The details differ. The ritual remains. Players come and go. Coaches rise and retire. Stadiums are built and replaced. But the structure endures. 4 downs. 10 yards, 60 minutes. A game of territory, a game of decisions. Its legacy is not perfection. It has faced criticism, it has faced reform, and it continues to evolve. From black and white broadcasts to global live streams, from leather helmets to advanced safety protocols. The field is still 100 yards, but the stage is much larger. It began in 1869, a chaotic college match in New Jersey. No helmets, no Super Bowl, no billion-dollar stage, just a ball and territory. The game evolved. Walter Camp introduced structure. The forward pass opened the field. The NFL formed. Rival leagues competed. Television turned Sundays into ritual. What looks like chaos became engineered control. 4 downs, 10 yards, decisions made in seconds. Legends defined eras. Rules adapted. Safety reforms reshaped the game. Stadiums grew larger. Audiences became global. Today, American football is more than collision. It is strategy. It is commerce. It is culture. A sport that survived crisis, adapted through reform, and built one of the most powerful leagues in the world. And now you know why America watches. The next time the ball is snapped, look beyond the impact. Watch the decisions, because this story is still being written. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the origins of the NFL, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves sports history, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful breakdowns of how the world's greatest sports began. The next origin story is coming soon.